Flash is a move in the Pokemon games that doesn't come up often. Traditionally, if you are teaching a Pokemon the move Flash, it's to light up dark caves. Because let's face it, navigating without it is pretty tough. Usually when you have Flash on your Pokemon, you just don't click it. Although accuracy drops are annoying, as the player 99% of the time, you're better off just attacking. Using a turn to give the enemy a slightly lower chance of hitting is just never of much use. Flash also sees little to no competitive play for similar reasons. Why waste the time lowering a Pokemon's accuracy when they could just switch out the next turn? There's also the opportunity cost of going for damage, using a support move, or raising your stats. On the flip side, evasiveness raising moves are very good and even get banned in competitive play. In this case, your intention is not to switch out, but to outpace your opponent, dodging their attacks along the way. It also doesn't help the accuracy lowering case from the fact that accuracy lowering moves can only ever lower the opponent's accuracy by one stage, as opposed to moves like Minimize that increase evasiveness by 2 stages. Many of these moves can also miss, making them even more unreliable, unlike evasiveness, which never fails. However, there were a couple uses of the move Flash in competitive Pokemon I could find, and big shout out to Freezeye and Manat for helping to provide this information. In the UU tier of Generation 6, stall teams were very viable. Toxic Stallers, Hazards, and Regenerator pivoting all played a role in matching the offense of a team with overwhelming defense. A way that players started to combat stall teams was to use setup sweepers. However, moves like Roar and Dragon Tail could prevent that. What players started to do though was wait until they had one Pokemon left to set up to avoid getting phased out. 2 common Pokemon that could do this were Cresselia and Magikarp Reuniclus. Magikarp Reuniclus couldn't get phased out if it was the last Pokemon. It also couldn't get Toxic Stalled because of its ability. However, Slowking was a common Pokemon on these stall teams. It could give itself a probable winning chance if they lowered Reuniclus's accuracy. All the turns Reuniclus, or in this case Cresselia, would spend setting up, Slowking would use Flash. These setup Pokemon could outpace the opponents in terms of recovery PP usage, but not if they keep missing due to Flash. Though this strategy isn't guaranteed, it gives the Slowking a probable chance of winning. There are other niche scenarios like Ninjask using Sand Attack in Gen 4 to help outpace the opponent with a Pokemon they baton pass into. Going to Nuzlocke, accuracy lowering moves actually have a different viability. In this video, we are going to look at arguably the hardest game to Nuzlocke, Emerald Kaizo, and the very specific situations where Flash can be the difference maker between a win or a loss. And if you like this video and its style of content, make sure to subscribe. It will let me know that you guys want similar types of videos in the future. To understand why this available move is useful, we also must understand what moves are not available. Outside of Growth Sunflora and the use of the move Rage, Emerald Kaizo does not allow the player to use stat boosting moves. Now Flash is not a setup move, but stat lowering is similar in how you use it to have a better outcome in future turns. This can be said for a lot of moves. There's an extensive list of stat lowering moves that are extremely important for Emerald Kaizo strategies. Rock Tomb, Mudshot, and Charm are the big ones. Because setup is nearly extinct in Emerald Kaizo, players must look to these moves for utility, but lowering attack and speed have obvious benefits and are overall very crucial stats to lower opposed to accuracy. So why Flash? Let's do a little thought experiment. You as the player are using a Sunflora facing a Ludicolo. This Ludicolo doesn't pose any threat to you, plus you have the move Synthesis. You can kill this Ludicolo easily, but the AI has a Golbat in the back that will kill your Sunflora. You can obviously switch to avoid Sunflora dying, but what do we have? Manectric at 50% HP. If we switch to Manectric right now and we get crit, then we're dead. If we switch to Sunflora after we kill, we're also just dead to a crit. To minimize the risk, we can use Flash with Sunflora until Ludicolo gets to -6 accuracy. After we do that, we can go to Manectric, kill Ludicolo, and kill the incoming Crobat. This reduces our risk factor from a 1 in 16 to lose something or wipe, down to a 33% chance for it to hit the move, then 1 in 16 for it to crit. Obviously, you'd rarely want to hold Flash on your Pokemon unless you absolutely know you'd be in this situation. And in Emerald Kaizo, there are these exact situations. While it's not Flash, Sand Attack is basically the same move, but with better accuracy. Roxanne is the first gym leader in Emerald Kaizo, and she has a Shuckle with Rollout that initially doesn't do a lot of damage, but with Rollout increasing in power per turn, being hard to kill, and increasing its attack with curses, it starts to become a much bigger threat. Because there are so many turns Shuckle can stay on the field, lowering its accuracy with Sand Attack is one of the best plays you can make. Charming the Shuckle down to lower its attack with Miral or Love Disc is nice, but once Rollout builds up enough, you'll be dead to a crit. Opposed to if you lower its accuracy, the Shuckle will have a much lower chance of being able to kill you with a crit. It has a good chance to miss one of the rollouts until its base power gets high enough to where it will kill you with a crit. There are other situations where Sand Attack is a good play as well. Sometimes a strategy in a Nuzlocke revolves around one single strategy to sweep a fight. If a player has a Sunflora, this is usually the case for Brawly and Watson. After intimidating down Brawly's lead, the player can additionally use Sand Attack to lower the chances of Sunflora dying to a crit or getting paralyzed, as it sets up. These two scenarios happen early in the game. Later on, there's less situations where accuracy lowering is needed because the player overall gets better strategies, and Sunflora basically just gets outclassed. And like we said before, Emerald Kaizo has very limited setup users. However, there is a surprising use of Flash as far into the game as you can get, the Elite Four. Holding Flash in your moveset is a big commitment in the Elite Four, as with 5 fights all your moves matter. This is even more true as Flash is an HM move, thus you can't get rid of it even if you wanted to, so it needs to hold a lot of value. To understand why Flash is good, we must understand Slowbro. Slowbro is a unique Pokemon in Emerald Kaizo. It has one of the best abilities in Battle Armor, meaning it never gets crit. It also has Slack Off, letting it safely recover HP. But it's another move paired with this combo that makes this Pokemon broken and at times being literally unkillable. Recycle. If Slowbro holds a Leppa Berry, it can restore its Slack Off PP and then click Recycle to get another Leppa Berry, and then restore Slack Offs again once it runs out. This can be done on virtually every physical attacker as long as you safely lower its attack when Intimidate or don't take enough damage. As we saw before with the Thought Experiment, lowering the opponent's accuracy can help you gain an advantage in future turns. If you have unlimited turns, why not give yourself better odds? While it's not always used, one common strategy in the Elite Four is using Flash on a PP stalled physical attacker, so what you send in next for positioning has a lower chance of getting crit. Even though the AI might be using Struggle can still crit and put your Pokemon in range of a crit from the next Pokemon or baiting a move that you don't want it to. But the biggest use of Flash in Emerald Kaizo's Elite Four comes against Glacia. This might seem counterintuitive, because most of Glacia's Pokemon are special attackers in Rain or mixed attackers. But the use of the move actually comes against Dewgong, but not always. Most times, Slowbro is wanted to be used to PP stall this Dewgong. Slowbro also gets access to the move Thunder Wave, which can paralyze the Dewgong, and then Slowbro can just outspeed and use its combination of Slack Off and Recycle to PP stall it. However, there's two issues. Because the Dewgong has Swift Swim, the battle is permanent rain, and Slowbro needs at least 16 speed IVs to outspeed it. Dewgong also has the move Ice Beam that can freeze, and this can lead to Slowbro dying. For Slowbros that don't outspeed Dewgong, Flash can be used to lower your chances of getting frozen. The combination of flashes make it more worth in the long term than paralyzing if you're not going to be outspeeding anyways. Slowbro also has access to the move Safeguard. If you outspeed the Dewgong, you can just safeguard the turn that Safeguard runs out, but if you underspeed it, then you have more risk of getting frozen. Dewgong will not click Ice Beam until it runs out of HP Grasses because HP Grass is his highest move. This means that you have plenty of time to get your flashes in. Finally, once Dewgong gets PP stalled, you can position in a Pokemon to get multiple kills such as Blaziken or Relicanth while your Slowbro sits in the back still being healthy. In conclusion, though accuracy lowering moves have seen minor uses in competitive, it's far too niche to be a reliable move in most metagames. On the contrary, Emerald Kaizo gives just about the perfect situation to make use of these accuracy lowering moves to be optimal at times. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and comment if you want to see this style of content again in the future. Thank you all so much for watching.